thing?
Are you ready for this?
Is there one? Well,
yeah.
Okay,
or
so,
she just in front
so
of a
they
green
did.
screen.
So they did do one.
I don't know.
They did one.
It's half
I'm
of
just
it's
saying,
done.
It's. I would not be surprised to find out.
Are you
she's
kidding me right
I mean,
now?
Would you be surprised to find out she's not in prison, Kurt?
Well,
It
I
looks
wouldn't
so
be
good.
surprised to find out we had a breakaway society with space travel and lizard stuff. So no, but you know, her being alive is like keep your trap shut and well, your time's gonna be real easy.
Yeah.
And if you do a lot of interviews, it's not gonna be good for you. It could be that.
It could be that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's Kyle Becker reminding us there's no justice for the victims, almost no arrest made in either of these high-profile cases. So none is right. So let's remember they're prosecuting Russell Brand, but not Prince Andrew. Think about that.
Yeah.
And nobody involved in the Epstein case. Ghislaine's the only one prosecuted. That's it. And I think that was a show trial. So because you got to get somebody.
The other guy died. Tragically, the other guy committed suicide as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Does Cash Patel know that? I don't know. Maybe they were bullied to death, I guess.
So just keep that in mind. There's no bigger criminal in the United States than James Comey. None. And there's his daughter, also a very suspicious deep state actor. Isn't that funny? And so,
you got a great picture of her too, by the way. Yeah, really.
That's it. That captures her. I predict. So, based on this, there's going to be some. Diddy might have to do some kind of time. He might have to do some, but it's not going to be what you think, because we were already suspect of this case, and I already saw other people, lawyers with YouTube shows, saying that yeah, it looks like they're prosecuting this in a way to make sure he gets off.
Of course they are. I said yesterday, I'm going, well, okay, here are all his gross sex life details, none of which is illegal, by the way. If you're into weird shit like that, where's all the network of people that he was working with? Where's the stuff Jonathan Oddie talked about? The drug smuggling, the baby oil.
Who cares?
I was waiting to hear about what drugs were in the bottles of baby oil.
Yeah.
Besides just baby oil, that went away. There's nothing about.
Yeah. So they're rubbing
a lot
baby.
of strange things.
You're saying there weren't drugs in that baby oil they were putting out each.
They're not talking about it now. Suddenly,
Yeah.
I'm just he liked everybody to have a lot of baby oil on them all the time. And if people look dry, he go freshen up their baby oil.
So is she the cooler installed to legitimize a phony investigation and prosecution? Is that what that is?
Of course, she's overseeing to make sure they don't get it done. Just like James Comey's job was to run interference with the Clintons. Remember Hillary's email thing that I think is a limited hangout?
Of course.
You taught me that. Yeah, was to like make it look like he's kind of fair, so we went after Trump.
That's right. James Comey was the guy who said we found over 100 instances of Hillary Clinton having classified information on her private server. But we're not going to, he goes, this might sound going to be funny. This might sound funny. I'm not going to prosecute her.
Oh, yeah. That's limited hangout. That's what
And
it means.
then he goes on to be the central figure in framing the president of the United States as a traitor to our country working with Russia.
And then he wrote 8647 on his Facebook, and
Yeah.
He's under investigation.
We're gonna cover that. But here is Suge Knight from prison, by the way.
Is this recent?
No, this is from I think last December.
Oh, okay.
So here's Suge Knight. Let's listen. He's talking to Cuomo.
Okay, good. Okay, but you had a guy named Tubby. He used to work for Interscope.
Guy named Tubby used to work for Interscope.
Not Cuddy, it's Tubby.
Oh, it sounded like Tubby to me. Let's listen.
Tubby to me.
Okay, good. Okay, but you had a guy named Tubby.
Yeah,
used to
Tubby.
work for Interscope.
Tubby.
This guy's job was to bring underage girls and girls to have sex with employees and other artists.
So this guy, Tubby, who worked for Interscope, his job was to get underage girls, not girls, underage girls, to have sex with other artists and employees. Okay.
To the point where his friend got caught up with the same thing. How they raided Puppy House for sex trafficking, they raided his friend's house for sex trafficking.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
He never went.
Boy, the prison phones are like a tight casino comedy set. Keep it to a minute.
Lord.
Sure. Can you say something? Can you say
When you
something
really look
positive?
at the
Sure.
whole situation,
Because you only got
I mean,
60
everything I'm
seconds
saying
left.
is positive. And I'll have him call right back.
All right, Suge, you call back. Do
That's
you
not
think?
happening like that.
Do you think that
We
Diddy?
can do so.
Do you think Diddy knows enough that it's a very delicate balance that maybe investigators will want to know these other names and greatly reduce his exposure to criminality, to time, versus what people would do to keep him quiet?
Number one, I've been knowing him a long time. And we was friends. We're not enemies, but we were friends. He's not a dummy. So he's smart enough to work his magic. On top of that, this man right here, he been involved with the FBI and most of his career. Shit, he got powerful people. One of his partners who started his company with drug money, President Obama, got him out of prison. So it's not like she don't have no moves. So I don't think nobody should just count him out. I don't think he gonna lay down and just crawl in the corner and die. He probably going through a lot of shit right now because he probably going through a lot of withdrawals for the drugs. But the industry got him on drugs. My artist, one of the worst mistakes I could have made was protecting my artist is doing a deal at Interscope. When my artist used to pull up in valet, the Murdoch building, they'd get out, they smell like weed. When they clothes smell like weed. When they made it to any office, it would smell like weed. Those guys, for my artists, they introduced cocaine to my artists. So once they got on cocaine, once they got on drugs, once they got on alcohol, and that's when the weird stuff happened. And I think that's what took Buffy down that lane. Then you got to remember, Clyde Davis, Russell Simmons, Andre Arell,
Simon, come
better
on.
believe it, alcohol, drugs, he compromised his manhood. Because he was taught that. He got Usher as a kid. They never recorded no songs, but alcohol, drugs,
Simon.
sex. Justin Bieber. And see, they do these things to take control. They're not doing, there's nothing wrong with being gay. If you choose to be gay, that's your preference. But they doing this to people for control. It's a power situation.
He's naming a lot of names. Nobody else arrested in this case.
Yep.
So just like the Maxwell case, they got the fixer, the cooler in there, Comey's daughter.
Mhm.
No, so maybe Diddy will go to prison. Maybe.
I don't think he's going to.
I say the
main
money
thing
is
was to get the network.
just like
And we're not gonna.
what's that?
The main thing was to get the network, and we're not gonna get them.
Right.
That's there to be protected. And he brought up a good point. You gotta think of it like a mafia operation. So how's the mafia run whores? They get girls addicted to narcotics.
Yes.
That's how you control the whores, and that's what showbiz is. It's a thing
Yeah.
for whores. That's why your friends that in Hollywood are like because they're paid whores. It's real easy. You just got to compromise somebody with something, and you can control them. And it goes back, like Clive Davis. All the record history was the mafia related. The mafia ran all the records. So Clive Davis has been probably an FBI informant for years. Diddy's dad was an FBI informant. That's why Frank Lucas had him killed. He's got family ties to the FBI, just like Maureen Comey, of being snitches and being in that world. So they have these networks built up, and they don't want to let go of them.
So Suge was just saying that Diddy's got moves to make.
Of course.
Yeah. So here now, and so so definitely this whole investigation and prosecution is scammy, very scammy. And here's just for fun, just to let you know. Remember that you had that recording as your ringtone of
No, what I had was so much worse than what this is. I
Yeah.
had Meek Mill and him. It was a real downer to listen. I thought it'd be funny.
1, 2, 3.
And it was, but then it got to be too much quickly. They're not making love in that recording, Jimmy.
Right.
What they're doing is not making
That's
love.
not making love. And that was Diddy and Meek Mill.
Yeah, it sounds like the lady who fell out of the grape tub from that grape stomping viral
Yes, yeah. It
video.
was
He makes that noise.
like he just had the wind knocked out of him. Yeah. It was allegedly Diddy and Meek Mill. But here is what Suge Knight. Here's one of the things. This is just for kicks. This reminds me of my friends when they would pledge fraternities in college.
Okay. They used to have these guys, they used to call it the boiled egg test.
The boiled egg test. They used to have these guys, and it was called the boiled egg test. Here we go.
They could take a boiled egg, a raw boiled egg. They have those guys pull their pants down and bend over and they stick it up their ass. The eggs break. They say they're not ready yet. They ain't put enough work in. This is Hollywood.
It's Hollywood.
So everybody want to go act like they don't know what's going on.
Hold on a second,
But
Shug.
if you just look.
Oh,
Shug.
You gotta
Hold on, Shug.
Now, we're gonna watch Chris Cuomo pretend he never heard of this test right now.
Yeah.
I have never heard of anything like that. So if I haven't heard about it, just assume a lot of people haven't heard that before. But you think it's on video?
Let's stop for a second.
Go ahead, Shug.
Yeah. Okay. I used to have a joke in my first Comedy Central special. I did that joke about I could have been in a frat if I'd have just held that egg in my ass 8 seconds longer.
Where had you heard of that before?
Where have I heard of it? I went to college.
Well, I heard of the egg thing. From the.
You ever heard of the elephant walk?
Yeah.
Okay. Where have you heard of that? You ever hear of the pita bread test?
I heard of Ookie Cookie.
Well, that's it. That's where
I like how just one thing they just rename a lot.
Yeah, where the pledges get in a circle and they have a pita bread, and then they have to finish on the bread, and the last guy to finish has to eat the bread.
Yeah, well, that's to prove your loyalty.
Yeah.
And that's the price is your manhood, and what they want is for you to psychologically have been like whatever your little manhood in you that makes you not do the thing the group does. They want that broken. So there's lots of ways to do it, and some are more extreme than others. Put it that way. But the coke aspect, once you get, I don't know if you ever met any long-term cokeheads, they get real depraved, like real depraved.
You know what's funny to me is that they're so when I was in college, this was in the 80s, they would have that, that was when I wrote that egg joke or came up with it.
My best friend was in a relationship
But they're
just
still
like this
doing
P.
that
Diddy
today
thing,
with the prices of eggs.
where her boyfriend made her do all this shit and kept her high on drugs.
Like you're in Ivy League school. We
Okay.
can't afford college. We can't even afford the hazing of a good college.
Hey, I'm
The
getting
more I
older.
listen to the Cassie
I don't like to
testimony,
read.
the
You
more I
look- you
can't
can
help
see-
but
look
think
at
of
it
her
in
and
my
that
hair.
guy.
You
So
can
I
see
texted
it.
her like an hour
And
ago,
what
and
the
I was
thing
like,
is,
dude,
Stuff starts to hurt for no reason.
have you
as get
heard
older.
this
I wake up in
stuff?
the morning,
Like,
it's
this shit reminds
ow,
me of your old
my
relationship.
shoulder. What did
It's,
I do last night? Oh, I
you've been on
waved
my mind a
goodbye.
lot. I love you.
It's my own fault. Should have warmed up. Well, guess what? We have a thing called Qualia Senolytic. It's the first of its kind formula designed to help your body naturally eliminate senescent cells. What? Tell me more.
A weirdo had a business where he treated his customers worse than TikTokers treat fast food employees, and a YouTuber named Louis Rossman called him out for his bad behavior and horrible business practices. And as a result, this business owner, he got very upset and he pulled up his britches and did what you should never do on the internet landscape. He filed fraudulent strikes against the channel that was calling him out. That is a big time no-no right there. That's like the Walter White in the car screaming meme. Like, you never want to do that because it's always disastrous. And Rossman is a big channel. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with his work. And in poking this bear, it led Louis Rossman on his own investigation, following trails of breadcrumbs and eventually compiling court documents and credible sources. And he alleges that this business owner is most likely this man with a criminal history, a very serious criminal history. Like, it's not Weenie Hut Jr. at all. It's not like he smoked the devil's lettuce one time, caught with weed. The charges that this individual faced were child sex offenses, and as a result, it has led to him and his business being completely gadooshed. I highly recommend watching Louis Rossman's full video on this. I just want to go over bits and pieces of it because it is fucking nuts.
I'm going to be following up on the video that I did on Better Way Electronics the other day. Before we get started on the video, there's two things I have to go into because this gentleman has repeatedly tried to
Oh my god, it's so cute!
and defamation claims.
Now, this slug creature is doing this to anyone that's even covering this topic right now, where he is filing fraudulent strikes to try and have like the videos blocked or taken down. But YouTube themselves
Oh my god.
seem to step in and put the kibosh on that because it is just complete baloney. It's just absolute malarkey. So it's not going through, but this guy is actively doing the best he can to try and
Oh my
scrub
god.
this and censor it. I'm familiar with at least one other channel that's talked about this and has made a video about it that has faced
I
a
should like make
similar
these things just to
claim
hang up
against them,
everywhere.
trying to have that video removed by this guy. So I'm very certain that he's going to try the same for me here now that I'm also talking about it.
The first thing we need to go over when it comes to
Look
privacy
at
and doxing, that the messages that I'm going to be showing in this video are messages back and forth between a WhatsApp number and his customers, and this WhatsApp number is public on his business website. If you go to betterwayelectronics.com.au, you'll see that there is a text or WhatsApp right here. This is a public business phone number.
The messages are shared with the customer's full consent for Rossman to cover them. The WhatsApp number is publicly available, publicly posted by the business itself. There is no privacy or doxing complaint that he can justifiably try and use as an angle to take videos down here. And the defamatory claim that he tries to make as well is also just bogus because he is simply going over credible
I love it so
sources
much.
and court documents about it. I'm hoping that when he inevitably
Oh my god, it could be a
tries this
skirt.
clown behavior again here with trying to
Oh
claim
my
or
god,
strike
it's
this
a
video,
skirt.
YouTube will do the same thing they've done previously and just shut it down themselves here because he has absolutely no leg to stand on with it.
So BWE has a piece of software that allows you to better understand what's going on
Alright,
with your PlayStation.
on to the next
This
project.
allows you to diagnose and repair the console in a way that you wouldn't be able to without his software. I will give him credit there that he's damn good at what he does at making software that makes it easier to fix a PlayStation. The problem is that his software has a very, very weird type of spying DRM in it, where it can tell what you're running on your computer. If you're running software on your computer he doesn't like, he bans you. If you're not running other software on his computer, he also bans you.
That's kind of the lore breakdown here in a nutshell, the genesis of this controversy, this beef, what started it. He has software that's a diagnostic tool for PlayStations to help people repair it and figure out what's going on so they can better repair their devices. If you're familiar with Rossman's work, you are probably very familiar with something he is a huge advocate for, which is the right to repair. Basically, you as the owner of a piece of electronics should have the ability to get it repaired. I think that's a very understandable, very simple, very agreeable perspective to have on things.
Okay, I just wanted to show you guys the last few
Better
moments
and help businesses
of the project.
repair the items
I'm out of
as
here.
well. It was a good piece of software, but he had a really scummy thing slid in.
I'm gonna go
there,
and
a
lay
little
down and veg
place
out and
where
do
it would be
nothing now
spying
because
on
I've been
its
doing this
users,
all day.
And if they had software that they were running or not running.
And now I got my tablet
Basically,
charged, so
this
I'm
guy
going
would
to
be
watch
some
it.
kind of like power tripping asshole, delusional maniac weirdo that would just like ban people and then berate
I wish
them.
I was more of a like
Just see some messages here in a moment.
crafty
He is
girly
just
in the sense that like after I could take like fancy photos, but I don't know how people take good photos. I just don't know how it's done. So
Rossman's video, which of
I love
course,
you.
channel, this guy never issued any